Alright, so I picked this spot in the garden. I'm going to go ahead and plant the Egyptian walking onions for several reasons. In New Mexico here, I know these things need full sun. They're from Egypt, what have you. The sun scorches here. It will scorch the earth and it will get far more than 6 hours of sunlight. So in this spot here, it's going to get some shade from the real hot noon and get most of that midday light. So I'm thinking it's going to be a good spot for them. We'll find out. This is also a spot that doesn't get disturbed a lot. And these, I believe, are perennials, and so they're going to come back every year. And actually, something neat about these, and the whole reason I wanted to get them, was they're Egyptian walking onions. And I watched the video. I got these from Pappa Pepper, but I guess when they grow up, they'll grow their stalks, and on the end of their stalks, they grow these little onion bulbs. And so I want to use them a lot in things for pickling and canning, as well as green onions throughout the year. That's the goal. I think these are really neat. So what will happen is they'll grow up, they'll grow their green stalk, and on the end they'll grow these little bulbs, these little fruits or onions. And when those get heavy and good to go, they will lean over and fall over, and that plant will touch the ground, and where that bulb touches, it'll grow new roots and start a new plant. And I do a lot of my gardening and a lot of my things out here. That's how God chooses to speak to me a lot of times. It takes a lot of work, and there's so much to it that really relates to our own lives that I can learn in here. And this is no exception. So I think these are awesome because just like these in your own life, you want to grow up and continually be producing good fruit. Produce awesome fruit and put it out there so that when that fruit is ready and it is heavy, we can lean over and touch another life, and hopefully that leans over on good ground. Enough of them, eventually one will, and can grow in someone else, and they can start to do the same, and they can spread, and we can really walk our faith. Anyways, that's what I thought was neat about these, so we're going to give them a try. Now, I got 20 of them here, it looks like, from Pappa Pepper there. I'm not going to plant that many. I'm a little unsure how they're going to do out here in New Mexico and in my garden in particular. So I'm going to plant, we'll plant 6 of them in here. That might still be too many, but I'm going to plant 6 little bulbs here and see if we can get them going. It is the beginning of August. In New Mexico, we do kind of have an extended growing season. So I'm hoping they can take root and get going, and then I can mulch it for the winter and have them for next year. That's the goal. I also have them back here by this back wall because with the afternoon heat, this wall soaks up a lot of heat and keeps the ground and the area right along the wall here fairly warm throughout the night. And in the high desert here, the temperatures can drop down quite a bit at night, especially as we enter fall. And so my thought process behind that is this wall will kind of help thermally heat the ground and keep it warm for a little bit longer. We'll see. The soil's already here. It is not the best by any means. Right here, it hasn't been amended at all. So I'm composting to get the soil good. But for now, a lot of the plants I'm planting kind of have to survive, and with taking them from different environments where they were grown and bringing them out here to the high desert, I want to not baby them too much. I want to create some that are a little more drought tolerant and able to deal with the heat and cold out here, and then take the seeds from those, from the strongest ones, and be able to replant them. So we're going to go ahead and put those here. The other plant I want to talk about is Mullein. I originally watched a video from American Homestead, I believe, on this, and then Pappa Pepper did one as well as some other YouTubers I'd watched. So this is supposed to be a medicinal plant. It's good for congestion and coughs in the lungs and things like that. With everything going on, right now, I think this is a plant I want in my yard. So we're going to plant this. From what I understand, it's more of like a weed and kind of will grow wild, so we're going to plant it in another part of the garden that's a little bit more like that and see how that goes. We're going to get that one going. It's a perennial as well. And then I got some bonus cilantro seeds from my Egyptian walking onion. Thanks, Pappa Pepper. Anyways, we actually don't have cilantro. I planted them too close to my tomatoes. They have kind of crushed them and taken over that part of the garden. Which brings me to one of my next videos. well, it'll probably be next year now that we're late into the growing season, but how I want to prune these tomatoes and do them next year. Watched a couple videos that give me some great ideas. So, let's go ahead and get to planting some of these. So I'm only going to plant a couple of them. I'm not going to plant them all. I'm going to save some. I don't know how well they're going to save for next year. But if I can plant some and try and keep those and let them survive, save a few, hopefully I will have some for next year when I can really start seed saving and getting a harvest off those, or just keeping them growing in the garden here. So here in New Mexico, I most certainly have to run some sort of irrigation, drip irrigation, or water once and sometimes even twice a day. It is just so dry, and not necessarily so dry and hot, but it's that it sucks all the moisture from the ground, and it will just dry the soil out to a bone and kill a lot of things off. So I water a lot. I also practice trying to make my plants more drought tolerant. For times maybe when there isn't quite as much water. So I plant a lot to help feed our family, to teach my kids about the food chain, about sustainability, where their stuff comes from, as well as to give myself a better appreciation of what I'm eating and what I'm putting in my body. We do plant a lot of this garden for preparedness. I think wisdom. There's a lot of things that can happen. This last year showed us that shelves could run dry or natural disasters. Kind of preparing for a time when I may not be able to buy or sell things. A time when I may not be able to go eat a hamburger inside a restaurant in New York City because of certain values or objections I have, if you catch my drift there. So I'm preparing for some very hard times, hopefully. I'm also do this because my goal is that if this garden not be for me, or my preps not be for me, that they can be for someone else, that way. So even if these things are not from me, they could be for someone else in some way. So we're going to get 6 of these in the ground. I'm not going to plant them too deep, but I don't want them too shallow, or they're just going to dry out. We're going to do 6 of them here, and maybe too many, but hopefully some of them get going. And then next year, these beans that are next to it here, these will not be here. I'm going to let these onions spread this way into the garden for about 10 or 15 feet. I'm going to put 2 in each hole. So you want to plant them with the dry in there. Look, this one's already starting to produce some little roots. I don't know if you can see that. Thanks, Pappa Pepper. We're going to plant that, and then with this end up, that's where the sprouts will come from. Okay. We will cover these over. There we go. I'm going to go ground here, and we'll grow these, and I'll be back with updates on them. I know I still need to make updates on the toothache plant from Pappa Pepper too. We had a hailstorm that came through and wrecked that plant, so I'm having to get others going. I think I'm going to start it inside. We'll see on that one, but if you're waiting on updates for the toothache plant or the buzz buttons, you have to hang on just a little bit longer. They're not doing too well this year, but we're going to get that one going, and then we'll have more updates on this as well. So thank you, Pappa Pepper, for these seeds. Appreciate it. We will spread them here and on from here, hopefully. Stay strong, people. Don't fall for what everyone's doing just because everyone's doing it, or it's easy, or even because you may fear the future or what it may hold. Our God is good. He is strong, and He is our strength. So stay strong. Alright, so that empty spot here, this is a tomato plant that looks like death. It hasn't grown, it hasn't done anything. The other plants have grown around it. But this one has given us most of the tomatoes we've gotten, at least early off. Really good, large, tasty tomatoes, and lots of them. You can see there's a bunch on there right now. Just off of this plant. That looks like death. Anyways, we're going on in the season, and I don't really think it's going to do too much more here. This one had gotten dug up when I first planted it by my dog, and I think kind of stunted its growth. Now you're going to see all these tomatoes around me. Last year I had done a lean, lower and lean method, which I have a little video and we can post that later. It didn't really work out so well here for us. The birds kind of picked away the fruit. It just didn't really work out too well. That's why we had these trellises though for that method. And I'll put some pictures on here. But it didn't really work out. And so this year my wife was like, why don't you just try not pruning them to death? And they're bushy, they're huge, they're gonna give us a ton of fruit. I do know though, because I haven't been cutting the suckers off and I haven't been doing these things, it's going to get wild, kind of unmanageable, and then it's not going to be giving, it's going to kind of disperse it out over all this fruit instead of focusing it on a few really good ones. And so I know it's not going to be the best method. I recently just caught a video on YouTube about by Pappa Pepper as well, about putting up some cattle guard panels and growing them on that with the clips. And I have tons and tons of those tomato clips from my lower and lean method I was trying. So I'm thinking next year that's what I'm going to do with the tomatoes in through these posts. And that's another video. We do have some, I call them cutworms. I don't know what the real name for them is. They're the little white grubs that just eat away the plants. We have quite a few of them in here. I don't know if I'll come across one. I've been battling them in here for years. This fall I think I'm going to get some beneficial nematodes, and so I'm going to start battling things with beneficial insects, and so we'll have videos of that to come out. Alright, so we're going to put some cilantro in. I think with this I'm gonna go get some water for this. Okay, cilantro should have plenty of time to grow up here. The last plant we're going to plant is the mullein. I want to do videos on this more so once I got it grown and have done some things with making tinctures and stuff like that and teas, and so we'll do some more on that, but this is one we're going to plant. I have an area over here in my garden that it's not tended to very well. The soil hasn't been amended over here or anything. Oh, you know what? While I'm over here, check out these peppers. So these actually came from Pappa Peppers Etsy shop too. So we got some peppers there going. Oh, some peppers here going. Anyways, they're just right behind me. Thought I'd show that. Alright. So I'm going to put the mullein in here. Now this plant gets pretty big, I understand. I'm just going to put a couple seeds in the middle and try and plant one big plant there in the middle. I know it can spread a lot and kind of go everywhere, but my plan is to control it and keep it down. It may be a bad idea putting it here. I may really want it in another part of the yard. Hey, you know what? But that's what I'm going to do. So this part gets a ton of sun. It's a cloudy day right now with all the fires, mayhem going around everywhere. Kind of nasty out here today. And of course, being in the urban homestead, traffic, and all that is picking up. So it's time to get a couple of these seeds in the ground here. Again, you may be looking at my soil thinking, how can you grow anything here? The soil here in the high desert is not good. So I have to bring a lot in, compost a lot, and amend a lot. Doesn't stop me from planting them though. The soil is good enough here that it should be able to grow. It will definitely, only the strongest seeds here will grow. But my goal is to seed save a lot in my garden. This was the first year we really started seed saving. We already got viable seeds for spinach and sunflowers. Some of the, I want to say it was the brown mustard greens. It's one of the other ones we got from Pappa Pepper. And then there was one we got from American Homestead. Anyways, we collected their seeds. I have those away and labeled. And the goal is to seed save and to save a lot of things here. You know, the time is now when you really need to start preparing. And, you know, I don't know if my time is... See this here? All chewed off. That means I have hornworms. We'll be coming through to look at that later. So, you know, I don't know if everyone's time is short. You know, at the end of times, like some people are saying. I don't know how far along we are with that. What I do know is my time is short. I only have 80 years maybe at the most on this earth, and I've gone through half of that already. So my time is short, and I don't have time personally to mess around because, you know, my time is coming soon, and I need to make sure I am doing the right things that I will be held accountable for. And so I don't know whether you need to prepare by planting your garden, or by planting in your own life, or by planting in lives of friends and families. Now is the time to plant. Now is the time to do it. Now is the time to be saying the things that need to be said, and loving on people, and showing people the right way to live and be in a light. Anyways, It's a lot said in this video, but it's stuff that needs to be said. So stay strong, like the video, and subscribe if you have not. These are tiny little seeds. I'm gonna put a few in here. Those are from Baker Creek. They produce some really good seeds. We really want to make sure everything in the garden this year is heirloom seeds, since we're seed saving. And we have rocks everywhere, so I use them for everything. These ones here, we'll just mark our spot so we don't walk on it. I'll give this a little bit of water, and thanks for watching.